Public sentiment is mounting as civic organizations like Bofepuso, opposition parties, and government critics demand that government release the full report publicly. While the public demand for immediate disclosure is understandable, premature exposure compromises ongoing investigations. It alerts suspects and risks the destruction of evidence, exhibits, or contamination of the crime scenes.
When time is money,
This episode is brought to you by Cash Time Lenders. When time is money, we deliver both.
Today we aren't talking about politics in the abstract. We are talking about a receipt, a very long, devastatingly expensive receipt. A few weeks ago, the government of Botswana released the summary report of the National Forensic Audit Program. It has sent shockwaves through every office in Gaborone and every household across Botswana. When President Advocate Dumaboko took to the podium, he didn't just summarize a document. He pulled back the curtain on the 10-year systemic dismantling of our national wealth from 2014 to 2024. The headline number is 33 billion pula. And to put it into perspective, that is enough money to fund our entire Ministry of Health for decades. It is wealth that should have built our schools, paved our roads, especially for people in Gaborone North and OD, and backed our local entrepreneurs. Today we ask the hard question, what's next? Because an audit without action is just a history book, and Botswana doesn't need history, we need justice. Let's break down what the international firm Alvarez and Massal actually found. They investigated 30 entities. The heavy hitters like Botswana Oil, Botswana Power Corporation, the Ministry of Health, and Air Botswana. Out of over 800 findings, a staggering 72% were categorized as high or very high severity. This wasn't just poor filing or lost invoices. This was a calculated high-risk environment. Even more alarming is the 160 billion pula flagged in contracts. While not all of it was stolen, the rules were completely bypassed. When you bypass procurement laws for 160 billion pula worth of work, it is no longer an error, it is an ecosystem built for corruption. The report identifies a recurring pattern of over 150 contractors, companies, and individuals. These same names kept popping up across different ministries, different years, and different projects. It was a preferred club, milking the state across multiple sectors. And now the shadow system and the 80 plus referrals. This brings us to the part that has everyone looking over their shoulder, the 80 plus referrals. The audit didn't just track missing money, it tracked names. 80 plus senior office holders, including current ministers and former ministers, current permanent secretaries, former permanent secretaries, and CEOs have been referred for further investigation. Their primary weapon, procurement manipulation. They used direct tender awards like candy. They split tenders into small pieces to evade oversight. They tailored requirements so specifically that only a predetermined friend or partner could win. If you ever wondered why a bridge in your village, like Moshopa, took 5 years to build and cost triple the budget, this report is your answer. It wasn't incompetence, it was by design. A shadow system was running the show, one where a phone call from a senior government official mattered more than a competitive bid. The battle for accountability. Now, the legal battleground begins. A forensic audit report is not an automatic conviction. It is a roadmap for the DCEC and the DPP. These 80 plus officials are just the first wave. The challenge is that proving a criminal direct award in court requires proving intent, not just a bad decision on a balance sheet. But the game changed on May 11th when the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Public Accounts commenced public hearings. For the first time, these entity heads are facing the light of the day. Accountability isn't just about jail time, it's about ending the untouchable era in Botswana. The recovery roadmap. How do we get our 33 billion pula back? The state is pursuing aggressive seizure. If a contractor was paid 50 million for a road that was never built or a clinic left without a roof, the government is targeting their bank accounts, equipment, and property to restore the national treasury. To prevent this from happening again, President Boko has laid out a clear reform agenda. 1, digital procurement, replacing vulnerable paper trails with immutable digital logs. And number 2, whistleblower protection. This is about passing robust laws to protect brave citizens who speak up. We need laws that make it safe for people to be honest. The third one is SOE governance. There will be independent boards to ensure that state-owned entities stop operating like ATMs for the politically connected. Another controversial part, making the audit report public. Public sentiment is mounting as civic organizations like Bofepuso, opposition parties, and government critics demand that government release the full report publicly. While the public demand for immediate disclosure is understandable, premature exposure compromises ongoing investigations. It alerts suspects and risks the destruction of evidence, exhibits, or contamination of the crime scenes. Ultimately, this weakens prosecutions from both an investigative and a national security perspective. The true measure of success is not immediate exposure of names, but the presence of genuine political will to let the legal process unfold independently. The executive must grant investigators, auditors, prosecutors, and oversight institutions the absolute autonomy to pursue evidence completely free from fear, favor, or selective accountability, or even political protection. I trust these institutions to fulfill their mandates with total and absolute integrity. A forensic audit of the past is a bridge to our future. For a decade, 33 billion pula leaked from our pockets. Imagine where Botswana would be if that wealth had stayed in our schools and clinics. What's next depends on us. We must stay engaged with the PAC hearings and demand that these 80 plus referrals lead to courtroom justice. Transparency cannot just be a campaign slogan. If the UDC government successfully executes these forensic audit recommendations, they will secure their legacy. If they fail, it will be their downfall, and our nation will suffer the cost, and we will be functus officio. Thank you for watching the Court of Public Opinion. I am your solo guide, Uncle German. Until we talk frankly again next time, do take care.